It's a veritable free-for-all where, like, most of us live right now. And that's the thing. We're going to talk about the soft lockdowns coming up here and why this is such a fucking shitty thing to do to workers. U.S. move to shorten COVID-19 isolation stirs confusion and doubt. U.S. health officials' decision to shorten the recommended COVID-19 isolation and quarantine period from 10 days to 5. They just shortened it from 14 to 10 not that long ago. Is drawing criticism from some medical experts and could create more confusion and fear among Americans. To the dismay of some authorities, the new guidelines allow people to leave isolation without getting tested to see if they are still infectious. What the fuck? Also got like the fucking... I don't know how WWE is going to continue. It seems like there's been a major outbreak. They have pulled Roman Reigns, Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, Seth Rollins. Like, apparently a bunch of the executives weren't at Raw. There's the same things going on in all the other sports leagues. Guidance is raised, and WWE quit testing their wrestlers just days ago. The guidance has raised some questions about how it was crafted and why it was changed now, in the middle of another wintertime spike in cases, this one driven largely by the highly contagious Omicron variant. Monday's action by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention cut in half the recommended isolation time for Americans who are infected with the coronavirus but have no symptoms. The CDC similarly shortened the amount of time people who have come into close contact with an infected person need to quarantine. Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, we saw just story upon story of all these Christmas parties causing these mass outbreaks. Even if it's milder, you're still going to see death surge. Now, why would the CDC change the guidelines? Let's hear it from the man himself. Here's Dr. Anthony Fauci. It sounded like I was praising him as the man. I was not.
Let's begin with these new CDC.
But also, he doesn't work for the CDC, so I shouldn't say that he's the man responsible for the new guidelines by the CDC.
Guidelines. Why is the CDC now changing these recommended isolation times for people who test positive for the virus?
I'm pretty sure he's going to say the word, yes.
Symptoms. I guess the simple question is, why now?
Well, the reason is that with the sheer volume of new cases that we are having and that we expect to continue with Omicron, one of the things we want to be careful of is that we don't have so many people out. I mean, obviously, if you have symptoms, you should not be out. But if you are asymptomatic and you are infected, we want to get people back to the jobs, particularly those with a...
There he said it! There he said it, you plebes! Get back to work! That's what this is all about! You slaves have a job to do! Go flip those burgers! What? You see, you can hear me. You can hear me breathe. And my noise gate was stopping you from hearing me. Hold on, let me turn that filter off. It's insane. I know. I should have got some Mucinex. I ordered groceries on Monday and I got Vicks Vapor Rub. I should have got the Mucinex. I quit smoking 6-7 years ago now. That's the thing. Yeah.
Essential jobs to keep society running smoothly. So I think that was a very prudent and good choice on the part of the CDC, which we spent a considerable amount of time discussing, namely getting people back in half the time than they would have been out so that they can get back to the workplace.
Mucinex, so they can get back to the workplace. Let's talk about the workplace, shall we? That's exactly where I'd like to go to next. This is what's called soft lockdowns. That's what we are experiencing right now. Omicron is pushing America into soft lockdown. Nobody wants to mandate business closures, but so many people are getting sick that businesses are closing anyway. I do not see a scenario for any kind of shutdown, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio declared this week. Parts of New York were, in fact, shutting down all around him. Broadway canceled show after show. Restaurants closed their kitchens. De Blasio's successor, Eric Adams, who will take office on January the 1st, nixed his inauguration gala. There has been no March 2020 style universal shutdown, but New York is not back anymore, baby. For Brent Young, who runs a butcher shop and 2 restaurants in Brooklyn, it began last week when one by one staff members tested positive. It's more or less decimated our workforce, he says. One of his restaurants had been booked solid with parties for a week. The holidays are one of the busiest times of the year for restaurants, but people started canceling those plans too. At this point, it's not worth trying to stay open. So hey, all you anti-lockdown right-wingers, let me tell you what's going to happen. People are fucked. The workers of this country are fucked. The small businesses of this country are fucked. Without government supports, rent and mortgage moratoriums, without paying people to stay home. Nina Turner tweeted it out. $2,000 survival checks a month are still a great idea. You goddamn right they are. I'm trying to put it in terms they understand. I'm trying to put it in terms, like they want economic terms. So I'm going to give them economic terms. What they're doing is on behalf of major corporations who are going to clean up through this, like they already have over the last 2 years. A voluntary suspension of activity, a soft lockdown, essentially will help dampen transmission of the coronavirus. This happened all over the country in spring of 2020 when people began staying home before the official stay-at-home orders came down. See, that's the thing, though. A lot of people can't afford to stay home because they got to go work meaningless jobs. There's no reason some dude needs to go fucking work at McDonald's flipping burgers right now. There is no reason fucking a lot of these shops need to be open. Predicting how humans behave has been one of the biggest challenges of the pandemic. It's easier to look at the impact of official policies that have start and end dates, like last year's school or business closures. Now the shutdowns are much more of a patchwork, with some businesses closing and some events canceled. Whatever the effect of a soft lockdown on the spread of Omicron, it will affect the economy too. Even if customers remain willing to go out, businesses will have to close when too many employees end up sick or get stuck in quarantine. Why the NHL canceled its games through Christmas, and why several museums in London have closed their doors. Shortening isolation periods in light of Omicron might help minimize these disruptions. The UK is now allowing sick people to test out of isolation at day 7, and the US is considering a shorter period for vaccinated people with breakthrough cases, which is now 5 days. A soft lockdown, businesses are also on their own. Last spring's stay-at-home orders came with unemployment assistance and emergency loans. None of that is coming this time. You're on your own. How do I know? Joe Biden said it fucking today. Now, the right has latched onto this, but for a completely different reason than what I'm upset about here. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem calls on Biden to rescind all mandates after he claims there is no federal solution to the pandemic.